First of all, the following is not a confirmation of the location or identification of Raxxla nor the Dark Wheel. These are merely my own musings. Some of the source material may or may not be canon, sourced from other content linked with Elite Dangerous such as Robert Holdstock's book and the other games. Elite Dangerous is a passionate subject, and as such I understand some people's trepidation to speculate on anything that may have a connection. If you are offended by the discussion of Polaris, speculation, Thargoids, Robert Holdstock, the Club, Hermit Locks, Ancient Egypt, or tinfoil, please look away now. I am not the fountain of knowledge on Elite, and although I have an interest in the subject, I do not claim to have the definitive knowledge on this game. I try my best to formulate all my content as accurate as possible. However, there may be traces of nuts, fish, tinfoil, and/or bones. You have been warned. Polaris, Venus, Lodestar, the Star of Arcady, or the many other names that the stars received over the history of humanity, is an iconic stellar body in the night sky. Travellers of old would use Polaris to navigate the once vast seas of Earth. A yellow supergiant, this star is clearly seen from all parts of the bubble and has been seen as a source of intrigue of the lore of Elite Dangerous for many years. Like many other systems throughout the Black, this location has a permit lock, yet obtaining this permit lock has so far been impossible. Once upon a time within the history of Elite Dangerous, human ships could access this system, but no map or vidlink of Polaris has been presented. If you know of a link to a picture of the Polaris system or a video of its content, please let me know below. Polaris isn't particularly prominent in ancient mythology, but when it's mentioned, it's often in the context of its location. In Norse tales, Polaris was the end of a spike around which the sky rotates. In Mongolian mythology, it's a peg that holds the world together. It is of note that Polaris in the 3300s would no longer be sat in the same position as it once was. If we go back to a previous iteration of Elite, the star was perfectly accessible. Not only that, but it was also the location for a pivotal moment in human history. Approaching Polaris is currently impossible, as mentioned before, but a survey of neighbouring systems revealed some footprints of humanity. In almost all of the systems that surround Polaris, you will find human signals that when followed up reveal wreckage of various ship types. Also, there is a limited pirate activity in this area, which may be the cause, but when I say limited, I have encountered them once. Location within the Pleiades Nebula could quite easily be the source of this piracy. Also, when looking at Polaris, you will hear a noise as follows. Spectrographic image software has been used with this signal but came up with nothing. Also, there is clear differences between this signal and known Thargoid transmissions. During the birth of the Alliance, a man rose to prevalence and helped secure this galactic power's future. His name was Mick Turner. Born in 3205, Mick Turner grew up in the Jones Colony in the Istaffa system. After graduating with honours from the civilian pilot school, he moved to New California in Alioth, just before the rebellion started. In 3228, when the federal corporation supplying New California attempted to raise their prices again, the citizens revolted, taking over the ships berthed in the space station and riding out to the gas mining stations to assault the corporate workers. Federal and Imperial forces arrived within days, but fighters from Alioth and several neighbouring independent systems joined forces to repel them. Mick Turner, amongst other individuals, led a campaign of asymmetric warfare to rid the shackles of the Federation and Imperials, for a group of systems that will become known as the Alliance of Independent Systems, better known simply as the Alliance. For a more detailed explanation of this period of history, please refer to the official codex entry in your ship's computer or the wiki linked below. It seems that Mick Turner was a key agent working for the Alliance, who was also involved with Thargoid related activities within the Polaris system. He was involved in the research of Thargoid technology at the least, and at the most was responsible for reversing the effects of the mycoid virus on the Thargoids. Now, as to the considerable change within the lore of Elite Dangerous, we currently do not know what is canon and what is not from those previous games. However, although considerable research is missing from the since defunct Galnet news service, there is still a strong presence in the game of subjects that are addressed within previous iterations of the Elite universe that are not overtly obvious to the player. This character is one such example, and as to specifically include his name in an area of space frequented by explorers regularly could be a signal for Mr. Braben that at least some of the events of Frontier Elite 2 have not been retconned. Looking into this site reveals a large base, well defended, and lay on the site of a Bark Mound colony. It seems that the Alliance is using this place as a staging area for some unknown mission. All mention of Mick Turner and all related subjects are either redacted by the Pilots Federation or barely mentioned at all. There are some limited sites within the bubble that do mention Mick, but nothing is revealed as to his activities post-revolt. Bill Turner, an engineer in the Alios system, claims to be the son of the famous but elusive Mick Turner, and despite his young age, he's reputed to be a wizard with utilities and plasma accelerators. His connections with the club are noted, and he claims to have founded the company that first reverse engineered Thargoid drive technology named Metadrive. Robert Holdstock wrote the novel The Dark Wheel, shipped with the original game in 1984. The following is from Robert Holdstock's The Alien Worlds book. Not regarded as canon, yet sharing common themes such as subversion of truth and prehistoric galactic empires. It was a dream that came to obsess them and demand all but a fraction of the energy and economy of their race. They began their tasks of conquering and building, a task that continues to this day. For thousands of years, architectural and mathematical expeditions spread outwards into the farthest reaches of the Raxxla known universe, gradually constructing the machine that would focus the universal force into that far distant point. The expeditions never knew their homeworld, they knew only the task. Generations were born, lived and died on the huge task ships as they sought out the correct locations of the various parts of the machine. And at a time in our distant past, one such ship found Earth and realised it was the ideal place to build a set of stabilisers. There was no machine technology in that time on our planet, and the ODYSSEY Raxxla built machines in the image of the men below. Taller, stronger, controlled from above. The robots walked amongst men and began the legends of the gods. They were remembered in time as the god Horus. The place the ODYSSEY Raxxla had chosen to start the work was a country known today as Egypt, and here they found a society ready-made for their work, with an elite royalty overseeing a rigidly stratified population. It was the work of no more than 4 dynasties to convince the pharaohs to build their tombs as pyramids, conforming to the various dimensions required for the Talmor lens. Without the presence of technology that could produce non-corrosive metals, stone was used, and the stabilizer stood for 1,000 years. Only one small fact marred the achievement of the ODYSSEY Raxxla on Earth. No one aboard the task ship had been alive when the journey had begun. Mindlessly, they had obeyed the sacred directives, slowly forgetting the purpose of the mission and the grand design that would result in its endpoint. Slowly too, the significance and importance of shape was twisted and confused and ultimately lost. They built the stabilizers, the pyramids of Earth, in the easy way with the points towards the stars. A disastrous mistake for the ODYSSEY Raxxla and the beginning of the end of their dream. In 2280, the first non-human relic was found. The object was found buried on Mars. It was no bigger than a child's hand and is still surrounded in secrecy. Even in 3300, no information has ever been circulated as to the properties of this item or its origin, other than it is non-human. Speculation to this device suggests that it may have a connection with the ODYSSEY Raxxla. There are numerous references to ancient Greek and Egyptian myths within this game. with mentions of the lover's woe and the parent's grief in the lore, and the jewel that burns bright in the mother of galaxies. So I do think that using these themes as a possible guide could be relevant, which I'll discuss shortly. What was this artifact that was found on Mars? No bigger than a child's hand, and presumably roughly the same shape as well. Was it some kind of data storage device containing a map of the galaxy? Or was it some kind of device to open a door or navigate a closed gate, like the Eye of Horus? As to the public knowledge of the Guardians and their technology, it seems to me unlikely that the source was from them. The Dynasty Project mystery made numerous mentions of strange noises in the void and unknown non-human vessels. Some of these encounters pointed to the Thargoids and some did not, as though to suggest that something is out there, neither human nor Thargoid. Yasmina Halsey, another character in the story, may have a connection. She was an ex-federal president who went missing for a period of time after her ship Starship 1 was destroyed, and she was presumed dead. After a long search via Community Goal, an escape pod was found with her inside. She was placed in an induced coma to recover from her apparent injuries. After Halsey had recovered from her physical injuries, she had been brought out of this coma. When quizzed by the media about her experiences in the void, she remarked the following: "It was wonderful, amazing. I saw the universe and all our galaxy with it, as I had never seen it before, and I had felt the presence of the real caretakers of our galaxy, the paradox of their existence, tiny yet gargantuan, fleeting yet eternal. They spoke to me as I drifted into the void. It was amazing. I must share their message." Supposing for this theory that Polaris had once had an operational wormhole that was an entry point for the Raxxla within our galaxy, as human technological advances gave them access to the region of space surrounding the Polaris star, it is possible that they may have discovered such gate or wormhole, having long ceased to function. Knowledge of such a discovery would likely be reserved for the top echelons of power, such as the club, and therefore access to this area of space would be permit locked to ensure any new technology would be studied in secret. Using third parties such as INRA and the Pilots Federation's notorious permits, all access would be controlled. The artifact on Mars, having been studied showing links to this device, was brought to this location. That somehow the artifact may have had some kind of interaction with whatever is located at Polaris. An exploration mission activated this device and ventured through. Was it the Thargoid homeworld, or was it the location of the Raxxla? Is Polaris the location of a gate, or at least a way to access an unknown area of space? The SIRIUS Corporation, commonly known as SIRIUS Corp, or simply SIRIUS, is the oldest and most powerful of the megacorporations. While even larger megacorporations exist, such as Falcon de Lacy, none of them compare to the wealth or influence of SIRIUS. Its headquarters are in the SIRIUS system, which requires obtaining a permit granted to SIRIUS Corporation's allies. As we learn in the Dynasty Project, SIRIUS was a major benefactor, with missions running to observe some of the sites to this day. They have had knowledge of a major threat to humanity and were involved in crafting a safe area for humanity to escape to. Although it is immediately obvious that these sites are connected to the Thargoids, I think there is something else to the story. Thargoid ships, although dangerous, are not currently a threat to Sol or any of the other major systems. Technology to combat them is widely available and very effective, although we have not yet seen anything bigger than an interceptor. Could the connection of the club to SIRIUS Corp and the Pilots Federation, who control the permits, to stellar bodies be of significance? And if so, is there an as yet unknown set of missions which lead to the Polaris permit? Also of note is the corporation's logo, a circle with two spiked light shapes protruding from the centre of the circle, another possible reference to a gateway or circle. To further pursue this theory, you could investigate the possible links between SIRIUS and Polaris. Find organisations, locations or individuals that are connected with the Polaris story of Frontier Elite 2, such as Mick Turner, Meredith Argent, Bill Turner, Paul Keep, the Alliance Office of Statistics, Hume Depot, Ithaca and other such points of interest you may find. As we have discussed in our previous video, the concept of wormhole travel is an actuality in this game. Irrelevant of the science, this is a game, and travelling in realistic ways would take centuries. Although there is debate and confusion to the nature of the frameshift drive, Thargoid vessels are commonly seen tearing holes through the fabric of space, as are the larger human vessels. Call it wormhole, WITCHSPACE, Stargate, Hollyhock drive, the concept is still the same. Maybe the permits have nothing to do with the club and that obtaining it is a matter of power play influencing other groups. I wholeheartedly believe that if Raxxla is in fact within the game, then finding some way to remove the permit lock is key. I have my doubts to Titan being a connection, as there are rumours that FDev used that location for testing new aspects of the game such as atmospheric worlds and the invention of legs. As you probably already know, there is currently a community group that is attempting to expand the Dark Wheel out of their current systems into regions that have previously been thought impossible. To get involved in this initiative, then follow the link below. In between exploration, the real world, and script writing, I chip away with what I can to help this community goal. I wholeheartedly wish these guys well and commend the efforts of Kaizen and his group. Good luck, guys. The Guardians were a race of bipedal lifeforms similar to humans and peaceful in nature. They, like humanity, spread out across the stars in the hope of the betterment of their race. The official lore states that the Guardians were destroyed by mechanoid constructs made by their own hands after a long battle to salvage their own existence. No trace of these artificial lifeforms overtly exist, yet certain automatons are seen at their sites, demonstrating the longevity of their technology. As the official lore states, Guardian race had at one point of time splintered into two, and a group of their race had fled out into the void for an unknown destination. This group were regarded as overtly belligerent and what would be described in human analogues as fascist. They had been cast out after a civil war. As you may know, there are large segments of the galaxy permit locked away from the prying eyes of explorers. The fate or location of this group is unknown. As we see many times within this universe, the powers that be, the club, have lied to us. Linked below is a video of Mr. Braben stating that subversion of truth is a key theme to the story within Elite Dangerous. Could they be lying to us about the fate of the Guardians as they have previously done so with the Thargoids? And if so, did the Guardians succumb to the Thargoids, or did they succumb to something else other than the official explanation? This is all speculation, of course, and I look forward to what the new era will bring us, whether that be a new galaxy to explore, new themes of exploration, or new challenges to decipher and overcome. Time will only tell to what our creators have in store for us. Odysseus was a legendary hero in Greek mythology, king of the island of Ithaca and the main protagonist of Homer's epic, the Odyssey. The son of Laertes and Anticlea, Odysseus was well known amongst the Greeks as the most eloquent speaker, an ingenious and cunning trickster. One of the suitors of Helen, Odysseus was obliged to join the Trojan expedition, something he didn't want to, since he was more than happy alongside his wife Penelope and his newborn son Telemachus, and he knew from a prophecy that if he goes to Troy, it will take him a long time to come back home. So, he tried feigning madness, but Palamedes exposed him, and Odysseus had no choice but to leave. He played a crucial part during the Trojan War, both as a strategist and as a warrior, eventually coming up with the famous stratagem which decided the outcome of the bloody conflict, the Trojan Horse. Afterward, he set sail for Ithaca, but after blinding his son, the Cyclops Polyphemus, he angered Poseidon so much that the sea god did whatever he could to obstruct Odysseus' journey homeward. After numerous memorable adventures, Circle, the Sirens, Scylla and Charybdis, Laestrygonians, Calypso, Odysseus finally managed to reach Ithaca, 10 years after leaving Troy and 20 after joining the Trojan expedition. There, he reunited with Telemachus and Penelope, and after killing all of his wife's suitors, reclaimed his throne. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to discuss below. I'm sure the more well-versed members of the community will have their own theories or disagreements, and I would love to hear from them below. The Raxxla subject is the greatest aspect of this game and possibly the greatest Easter egg of all video game history. Please consider subscribing below, and even if you want to like as well, it all helps this channel grow.